Hi class, how are you today? Awesome, awesome. Good to hear. Alright, so today we have two learning targets. First, to use the distributive property to change multiplication problems. This will actually make multiplication a little bit easier, hopefully. And to use the distributive property to simplify expressions. Let's get started. Alright, let's start off by saying, what is the distributive property? If you have some number a, and it is being multiplied by b plus c, and b plus c is in parentheses, that's the same thing as saying a times b plus a times c. So what we did here was we distributed this a to both the b and the c. So anytime you have a number in front of parentheses, you have to multiply that number by every term in the parentheses. So in this case, we have two terms. We have b and we have c. So a has to multiply by both of them. Alright, let's start off with a basic multiplication problem. 7 times 52. If you tried to do that in your head, you might get a little confused. I know you could probably easily do it on paper, but here's an even quicker way, and is also the way that I do it when I ever try to do quick multiplication in my head. So what we want to do here is take 7 and we want to multiply it by some easier numbers to deal with. So we still take 7 and it's being multiplied, but we want to change 52 into easier numbers that we already know how to multiply by 7 pretty quickly. So let's say 50 and 2, because 50 plus 2 is 52. So does everyone agree that we have 7 times 52 is the same thing as 7 times 50 plus 2? Because order of operation says parentheses first, so 50 plus 2 becomes 52. Sound good? So using the distributive property, we know that we have to multiply 7 by both 50 and by 2. So 7 times 50, well, 7 times 5 is 35, and then add a 0 at the end. And then 7 times 2 is 14. And then add those, 350 plus 14 is 364. Probably a bit quicker than doing the multiplication out, especially if you're trying to do it in your head. Alright, let's do one more of these. Here we have 6 times 99. That probably could be a pretty difficult problem. But if you turn it into a distributive property problem, it actually makes it really easy. So, let's try it out. We'll take 6 and we want to multiply it. And we need to think, what is two easy numbers that we can easily change 99 into an addition or subtraction? Well, 99 is really close to 100, right? And to get from 100, we just subtract 1 to get to 99. Now, we multiply 6 times 100 and 6 times negative 1, or minus 1. And 6 times 100 will give us 600. And then minus 6 times 1 is 6. And that will end up equaling 594. I'm pretty sure everyone watching this can agree that that's a lot easier than trying to multiply 6 times 99 out. For those of you that are visual, here's a quick way to show how the distributive property works and why it works. So here we have 11 times 13, and say that we're doing this because we want to find an area of something. So we take a rectangle and we have a height of 11 and a length of 13. And that will give us everything in this little rectangle right here. Say instead we want to split it up into two smaller rectangles. So here we have two rectangles, both with the same height of 11, but we just split it up so the width is now changed. So now we have a width of 10 and a width of 3. So we know that the 11 times 10 will give us the area, and that'll give us 110. And 11 times 3 is 33. So if we want to find the area of the entire rectangle, we just add those two. And we get 110 plus 33 is 143. And that's the same as this area over here. Because all we did was just drop a line through this rectangle and split it up into two smaller rectangles. And that's how the distributive property works. You just take something big and split it into two smaller parts, and then take it from there. Alright, now let's look at an algebra problem. We have this algebraic expression, 5 times x plus 4, and I want you to simplify it. So we do the distributive property just like we did before. And we have to multiply 5 by everything in the parentheses. So we take 5 times x and 5 times 4. So 5 times x will give us 5x, and 5 times 4 will give us 20. And it's fully simplified. Do remember that we can't combine an x and a number. So this 5x has to stay 5x, and this 20 has to stay 20. We can't combine these any further. Now let's look at another one. So now we have a negative 3 in front of parentheses. So we have to multiply negative 3 times 2x and negative 3 times negative 6. We have to treat this minus here as a negative. So this is negative 3 times negative 6 here. It's a common mistake a lot of people make, so just keep in mind of that. So negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x, and negative 3 times negative 6 will give you a positive 18. So that minus turns into a plus because we had two negatives. And once again, it's fully simplified. This is an x, this is a number, so we can't combine these two. Let's look at one more problem. So here we have 4, but in parentheses we have 3 different terms. We have x squared, we have 2x, and we have negative 3. So we have to multiply 4 by each one of these. So 4 times x squared, 4 times 2x, and 4 times negative 3. So 4 times x squared is just 4x squared. 4 times 2x will give us 8x. And 4 times negative 3, remember that is a negative 3, is a negative 12. And one more thing to notice, this is an x squared, this is an x, and this is a number. These 3 are all different, so we can't combine them. We'll talk more about combining like terms soon, but just remember, if the variable is even a little bit different, we cannot combine them. So this x squared and this x and this number are all different, so leave them alone. Alright, so that's it for today. Please, please, please remember to take notes over the entire lesson and bring them next class, and have a good night.